So we dropped the pressure down. We're at 1800 now, roughly.
1800. Yeah, I'm going to turn it down just a little bit more.
Okay.
Just a little bit more. Here's the pump kick. So check right now. There's our hardtails, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Hardtails, 1450. I'm just gonna, just for sake of argument, I just want to creep it up a little bit here. Let's go. It'll be about 1500 right in there when we do it. Okay. So starting air assistedly. Okay. So now we're at airless. We did our airless part of it. We know now we have hard fingers, what we need. Now air assistedly, I want to take this compressor and hear that click?
Yes.
That compressor's turned up all the way, right?
Okay.
That's what I want.
Okay.
Since this is for you and you only, right?
Yes. All right. Internal.
Yes, internal. All of this right here, all of this settings that Graco puts on, right? Yes. Do it at this PSI of a compressor, da-da-da-da-da. We want to disregard all that, okay? We want to ixtay all of it because every single product is different. From Super Paint to ProMar 200, they're both latex, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Different amount of solids that are in it. It's going to be different PSIs.
Correct.
So how I set this up is going to be disregarding all that down to the operations manual. Okay?
Okay.
So on that same note, compressor turned up all the way. You hear the click. Put it in. You're done. Full blast. Every air part of it is going to be controlled at the gun.
Okay.
Okay? This cheater valve is going to be your best friend. Okay?
Show me the cheater valve.
So this cheater valve right here, I have it turned off all the way, and you can see when you crank it up all the way, that's wide open. You can see there's a gap in between there, okay?
Okay.
I want you to know that anytime that gap gets over halfway, you need to stop what you're doing. And you need to close it again and go back to your fluid pressure.
Okay.
Okay? So what I want is the fact that this air, if this increases too much, and we have too much air, not only are we taking away the fact of what air assisted is. Now we're adding too much air and we're going to be causing more overspray. Also, we on the guard itself, we're going to be clogging because the air is drying the front too fast. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect
Okay.
sense.
So when in doubt, if this cheater valve gets more than halfway open and you still have not completed what you want on here, okay? Say that you still got the tails and that air is not atomizing, knocking it in, you need to close this off. Put it to 0 again while your compressor's still running. Close it off to 0. Come back to your fluid and increase your fluid pressure by 50 to 100 psi at a time. Go back and try it again.
In increments of 50 to 100.
Absolutely.
Until you don't have to open
that up.
the cheater valve
more than halfway. Yep.
Okay.
And every product will be different. My recommendation is every product that you spray, take notes.
Okay.
Okay? Take notes, and once you've sprayed basically everything, Super Paint, we'll say when we get this dialed in, it could be 1600 psi. We are more than a quarter turn open on air. Boom, done.
Okay.
Okay? Keeping in mind, fluid pressure will change on the tip size that you use.
Tip size, temperature. I mean, obviously,
100%.
colder paint's going to be a little bit more thicker
correct.
than paint that's warmed up.
Then dual orifice, 10 orifice, dual orifice tip compared to a 17 orifice tip that's not dual orifice. You're going to have more free flow because you're not atomizing twice in the dual orifice part of it. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
So when in doubt, increasing your tip size, obviously what you're going to do, you're going to increase your fluid pressure because you're having more gallons per minute coming out.
Okay.
Okay? So 1600 psi, we're going to get loud now. We're going to click it over. And always recommend, job site, in shop, whatever you are, making sure that you have a bucket of water if you're using latex. If you're using lacquers or anything like that, you have a thing of lacquer thinner to make sure that that guard stays clear. Once those pores clog up, you're dead in the water.
Now, what would you recommend brush-wise? A nylon brush?
Nylon brush, wire brush.
Brass?
Yeah, that's perfect fine. You're not doing a hard scrub because you're never going to let it have a chance to set up. So give yourself, I mean, I'll check it every 5-10 minutes. If you're changing trim packages in and out of the shop or whatever, you just take a look at it, you see a little bit of buildup. You have a rag in your pocket, you have a brush, just give it a wipe. And then the nice thing about the air is that two-way pivoting. You have air there, pull.
Blow it out.
Second pull is going to be fluid. So yeah, you got water or lacquer on the front of it, give it a couple squirts, dry it out on the front, boom, you're off and running. Okay? So, right now, I got no air, right? No air at all. So I'm just gonna be fluid like I was doing with airless. It's gonna give me tails no matter what. No air, tails. Now I want to bring in some air. Bring in some air to it. You can already see that it's already going away. Okay? So that's just, and I'm about a quarter turn on the air valve. Okay? You can probably bring it up just a little bit more. No tail.
Nice.
Okay? Any type of airless tip is going to give you a little bit of a fan on the side. This tip could be a little bit used. If you had a fresh, clean tip with nice, clean edges, it will give you cleaner on the sides. Okay? But again, no air. There's the tails. And all we're doing is asking that air to knock those tails in. Okay? Just like that. Take your hand. And no overspray. That's the whole part of air-assisted airless, is being able to take it at the 1600 psi for latex, where obviously when we did it airlessly, you weren't atomizing. It was tailing you the whole way.
Yeah, we're twice that in pressure with
And to be able to stand inside of a shop or in a house shooting air-assistedly and not getting choked out by so much overspray.
the big cloud.
Yeah, and you're saving material, and you're saving on your masking, you're saving on everything with air-assisted. This is a fine finish tool, definitely, definitely. I got guys who can literally cut in a wall if you have a steady enough hand, which I really don't. But again, I got guys who can do that. Okay?
At least use a 1-inch tape. Be sweet.
I use a 2-inch tape.
That's
on my house. I use a 2-inch tape. I'm not a painter, and I was able. That's when Gil had this.
Yeah.
And Gil let me use it when I finished my basement. When I was doing my trim package and my door jams. And I went down with 2-inch tape, and I sprayed all my trim and all my door jams without any going back and doing any touch up as far as back rolling.
see, and that's the
And
whole
that's
thing.
a true testament.
We actually bought this back when Gil gave that initial demonstration, and that was what sold me, because he sprayed out that door jam with I think it was 6-inch paper.
Yep.
But it was like
You use
a
this much.
black on white, or it was white on black, whatever. But there was no overspray.
Well, and again, I mean, even on my hand, just spraying right directly next to it, there's no overspray on my hand.
Yeah,
at all.
That was the thing that impressed me most. And unfortunately, when I went, I bought the unit, and then then I went and tried to use it, and I followed the instructions on the side.
That's correct.
And I got frustrated and said,
See,
just give me a 395
Yeah.
and I'll spray the trim.
And that's why right here doing what we're doing
Yeah.
is the main key. Due to the fact of every product, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but every product is different.
Yeah.
And if you go through the simple way of setting it up airlessly first and using the rule of thumb, okay, as far as cutting it 50%, it could be varying from 100 psi each way.
Okay.
But that rule of thumb, cutting it in 50%, at least you're going to be on target to where you can start adjusting.
Okay.
And the mixture of air-assisted airless is the mixture of the right amount of fluid pressure and the right amount of air. And that's why you don't want to mess with that compressor. You just want it maxed out. The thing is, I think, 28 psi max. Okay? Or 30 psi off the top of my head. So
that we just leave that.
let it go, and just let it pop. Have the pop-off valve. Just this thing is maintenance free.
Okay.
Let it run. It's not going to hurt nothing.
Okay.
So let that run, and then adjust everything else on the other side using that cheater valve. Your Mercurs, your air-assisted airlesses that are in shop, you know, the ones that are wall-mounted for all the industrial guys, those are 2 regulators, okay? And you regulate them with air and fluid, doing it that way. There's no cheater valves on the gun. But rule of thumb, on Mercurs, on your air side, you never let that pressure on your air side for your gun go more than 20 psi. Because you will start an orange peel. You can get an orange peel with latex. That's again injecting a lot of air into the product that's not needed.
Nice.
It's just wasted. And again, wasted on overspray, but literally wasted into the product, and it's going to show on your finish. Whether it's lacquer, whether your trim package of latex, whatever it is, it'll show. Okay.
It's
That's
effective setup on the air assisted. Now the guys got it in paint. They finished the project. Now it's time to clean it. What's for the air assisted? What's the best way to clean that out?
You're gonna take away all air side of it. You're done with air. You've already done your project. You
So
will
switch back to just airless only.
Yep, and then you will flush like any airless would.
Okay.
Okay. You will flush out properly, whether depending if you can get your hands on hot water and flush clean with hot water, anywhere from 5 gallons or however it is. My personal opinion, I like to go 2 to 3 gallons of hot water, a nice clean flush. Take out all filters, hand wash filters, flush again with no filters in,
Okay.
and another 3-4 gallons after that, as far as flushing, and then reinstall your filters when you're done, so you're ready to go for the next time.
Excellent.
And then at that point, depending on what temperatures we are, what's going on in the as far as your climate and everything, you want to put mineral spirits, paint thinner in for storage for freezing. I recommend pump armor for Graco.
Is there a gun filter in this guy?
There is a gun filter. You have your manifold filter, you have your rock guard, and then your inline filter is right in here.
Okay.
So this will be taken out.
Okay.
This will be taken out and cleaned as well. Very small. These come with 100 mesh inlet filters. So very tight mesh. You want to take it out, flush that. This does have a gasket on it as well, built onto the filter. Okay, so if you take this out and say it's clogged and nothing's really going through well, and you chuck it out of the way and put everything back together, guess what? You're going to have a leakage of fluid everywhere.
Okay.
Because that gasket that's built onto the filter is your seal between these 2 points. But this comes off of that right here, and it actually says on here, with a little bit of tender love and care, it'll say inline filter on here.
Is
Okay?
that hand tight or is
No, this is off with a wrench.
Okay.
Yep. And this is not a swivel point either. This is all hard, it's all tight.
Okay.
Okay?
Excellent.
Glad I came back.
And then